What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Scent Bubble. Today we are going to be talking about a Maison Francis Kurkdjian, however you want to say it. And this is one with a familiar name that I know most of you have not smelled because it's not the most popular mention. So strap up.
Okay, dinner for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on time, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Today from the house of MFK, we have Gentle Fluidity Gold. And for those of you who aren't familiar, there is a Gentle Fluidity Silver, and I think that that's the Fluidity line, at least as far as Fragrantica is concerned. You have silver and gold, and then moving into fresh scents, I believe what you're dealing with after that is the Aqua Universales line. Matter of fact, let me double check. So you got the 754 line for some of the more clean stuff. The Apom, the Amorous, the Aqua line. Yeah, there's a lot of the Aqua line. But a masculine plural, that's another one I forgot. That's a spectacular one. But this is actually a vanilla scent, so I thought you guys might be interested in it. You know, a lot of MFKs, I believe, are kind of like Initio, where they market it as unisex. But this is classified as a Oriental vanilla. And MFK fragrances tend to be on the clean, crisp side, so hearing the word Oriental shouldn't be off-putting at all. 4.17 out of 5 rating on Fragrantica out of 6,200 votes. So a lot of people have got their nose on this in the niche world. Let's go ahead and load this up on Skin and on the test strip to get some initial impressions. I really love the House of MFK, one of the greatest to ever do it. And their fragrances all, even their most heavy fragrances, have kind of like a mid-sized weight to them. Like one of their heaviest fragrances, Maison, right? I keep saying his name. Oud Satin Mood is a very heavy scent, but even in its heaviness, it's like, this is how I think through things. If Oud Satin Mood was made by Initio, it would feel much heavier and much denser. But this house has the ability to take heavy scents that are still rich and potent and have a lot of sillage and make the weight of them feel somewhere between milk and apple juice, if that makes sense. Like, so they wear gently, but they project loudly, at least the heavy Oud Satin Mood type scents. So there's always a kind of effortless lightness even to the most heavy stuff. Now, with this vanilla scent, I imagine it would wear somewhat mid-range to the line, you know, compared to their heavy stuff and their light stuff. This sits kind of in the middle due to it being a vanilla. That's what I'm anticipating. In the air, it almost smelled like angel share, but let's investigate it further. It's definitely got an angel share kind of weight to it, just the tiniest bit more musky and powdery. This does not smell exactly like angel share, but it's scary close resemblance, not necessarily in DNA structure, but in weight and in sweetness. It's got a very cozy seduction to it. I think what separates a vanilla like this from, and again, for those of you who haven't watched me or even some of my subscribers know, um, when I'm smelling a fragrance like this, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, Nichane 100 Silent Ways. Again, I'm not comparing it. I'm just thinking of vanillas I'm familiar with. Memoirs of a Trespasser, Imaginary Authors. Grand Soir from MFK, Nichane 100 Silent Ways, Nichane Ani, Vanilla Sex, Vanille Fatale, Tobacco Vanille. Are there any major vanillas I'm missing out on? Absolute Aphrodisiac. I mean, there is just a lot of vanillas that this fragrance would be competing with in my mind. But what separates it from all the rest, not in terms of better or worseness, but in terms of profile, is that it has a much more, it's got a different weight to it than all those other ones. Again, it's kind of an apple juice kind of weight with a somewhat powdery texture. And in that way, it feels very close to an angel share kind of weight. But in terms of the scent, it comes off a lot more musky, like tons of musk, little bit of powder, and then it just has this airy sweetness. And the vanilla almost feels like it's got a little swag to it, because there must be something else in the form of florals or citrus or something that's tinting it to where it almost doesn't truly smell like a linear vanilla scent, even though it completely is. Let's go ahead and switch windows real quick. So let's see what the composition is. Launched in 2019. Nutmeg, there we go. So nutmeg, juniper berries, coriander, vanilla, musk, caramel, and amberwood. So it's kind of this caramel nutmeg twist on the vanilla. The vanilla feels not creamy, not even super powdery, not ashy. This vanilla feels very much super musky with a caramel nutmeg tint. I appreciate this approach to vanilla from the house, just because Grand Soir is kind of their staple bestseller vanilla in my opinion. But that is a much more heavy, almost syrupy, creamy, buttery take. And this is more gentle. This is much more pretty white dress vanilla, you know? Whereas the other one feels like you'd get a lot more fancy. This is more gentle, elegant, angelic of a take on vanilla. I do really like it. I imagine this going 6 to 8 hours very easily with a good heavy spray amount. Okay, so Roses Vanille, and then Intense Cafe from Montal. Hot Not Vanilla. Seems to be very close to this Born to Stand Out. Okay. Anyways, let's go to some usual suspects and go ahead and wrap up. So I think the biggest issue for a vanilla like this is that it is really good. It's just lacks signature, which is funny because it's unique. And even on skin, it gets much prettier. I get more of the musk and the juniper. It seems to kind of get a little more swag and character on skin. Some of the other notes jump out, but it's still this very light to medium wear. I think, again, the problem for a fragrance like this is there's no standout wow factor to it. So in its simplicity, it's a fragrance where it's like if you owned it, you would use it a lot in colder weather. But because it's not more standout, something like 100 Silent Ways or Ani or Memoirs or Vanilla Sex or Grand Soir or even Absolute Aphrodisiac would just outclass it just because it's got a little more punch and swag. But as a inoffensive, super fancy vanilla wear, I respect it a lot because the vanilla is still not typical. This is not like a vanilla you've smelled, but it is quite simple even in its uniqueness. And so I think that's what would be, I love this scent for effortless, gentle, angelic beauty for a woman. I think on a man, this would just be strange to wear. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think this is super feminine leaning. It just has an angelic musk airiness to it that I picture a woman's silhouette in. It is really nice. Like if a woman has a lot of money and wants an effortless vanilla that is not heavy and wears more like a fresh year-round scent, but wants it to still feel expensive and niche, I think this is totally the play. This is that, pearl necklace, gold earrings, angelic woman with her hair done up in some sort of a twist, very elegant, very modern, very nice. As a fragrance, I give it an 8 out of 10. It's well above average, like super above average. But I don't really go into the 9 or 10 category unless it has the signature and the punch that I would imagine giving a score like that too. So if I was a decimal guy, it would be at 8 pushing towards a 9, but rounding down, I'm going with an 8. Extremely strong scent, again, lacks a little bit of signature and punch, but it's not supposed to be that type of scent either. So I do think it's a great pick for ladies. Men, I don't think this is for you. There's just kind of a certain level of sweetness and tint to the vanilla that just feels very much Bath and Body. But it's really good. I think year round, but leans towards breezier weather. Again, due to its weight, even though it smells like something that belongs in fall, winter, due to its weight, you can wear it year round, afternoon, evenings, or anything with a breeze. Don't let the elements come near this. It'll just wipe all that musk out. And once you lose the musk, you kind of lose the fragrance because the sweetness becomes super faint. Projection on this, I'm getting about 3 feet. It's got a nice, very medium to small sillage, but it is absolutely there. I would wear this anywhere, casually, upscale, casual, work, day date, brunch, errand runner, even sundown, like sundown, hair down, Lululemon type of wear. You know what I'm saying? After you've worked out at the gym, ladies, you could throw this on and just feel pretty. Age, I think any age really, 20 and up for women. Men, don't go near it. Alternatives, probably something from like a Bath and Body Works. Some of their higher end vanillas would be close to this just in the weight, but it's not going to feel as fancy, but it'll get you pretty darn close. The price point on this, I think, is somewhere around, it retails for $265 for a 70 ml. I think the lowest you're going to get this is high ones, unless you're like going Mercari or something like that. So again, unless you have money, and money is not an issue, again, this is a rich person's casual, I feel. It's a little bit woody too. It's got a nice little woody base. It is nice though. That's all I got. Hopefully that was enough. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know. Again, check out this bottle real quick. Sometimes bottle presentation is very helpful. When I say that this fragrance wears pretty airy and musky and light, this bottle pretty much tells the story of how it feels. It feels effortless, simple, fancy, angelic, and golden. It's got a little gold tint on it. So anyway, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I do drop episodes every single day. So if you're into fragrance content, men, women, entertainment, game show, all that stuff that's going to keep you informed yet entertained about fragrances, this is the place you want to be, because I post more than anyone on the internet when it comes to this fragrance stuff. Don't believe me? Just watch. So again, I'm going to recommend some videos on the left and right hand side that the algorithm thinks you'll probably enjoy based off what you've been searching for. And until next time, this was MFK, also known as Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Gentle Fluidity Gold. And it was pretty stinking solid. Okay? Stay blessed.